Well, good morning, everyone. Once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. And we sure love you guys. And we appreciate you coming on when you can come on live. We thank you for that. And so good morning to you. And Brahim, you're numero uno, at least on my hit parade. Mike from Norland, good morning to you. And Lynn, you made the Trinity this morning. Andrea, right up behind you from Niagara Falls. Amber from New Jersey, good morning. Jude from Troy, New York. And Rosalinda, the Kidneys of Canada, Niagara Falls. Sandy, Chilliwack, British Columbia. Donna, Newfoundland. Nativity, good morning. And Kevin, Oshawa. Wendy from Markham. Norma from Texas. Doc McEwen, West Tennessee. Gary. Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Fran from Orangeville, good morning to you. Adeline, we love you dearly. Frida. Devlin. Heather. Mir. Deneen, how are you? Donna. Dave, how are you from Gilmore? Yvonne, Petabawa. And Milika. Gail, how are you? And Linda, St. Jude, Quebec. Sherry from Mississauga. Leela Werner. And Suzanne from Edmonton. Hey, those Oilers won last night. Keith, Bell River. Rhoda, Labrador. And Karen, Little Britain. Rose, Peterborough, how are you? Johanna. Rain Cloud, how are you? Rain Cloud from Michigan. Diane Thunder Bay, good morning. Nick, there she is from our staff. Kathy. And Susan. And Samora de Mexico, how are you? Cecilia. Karen from Innisfil. Wanda, Virginia, good morning. Donna, Bell Ewert, and Dave Muskoka. Patricia, good morning. Nice to have you on. Dale, Rita, good morning. And Laurie from Cambridge. Couple of more guys will get going. Bonnie, Yolande, bonjour. Patricia, good morning. And Maria from Portugal. How are you? Nativity, rain, and more rain. Well, we got sunny skies here. Cindy, Lorraine, Oshawa, Kathy from Texas. Patricia says she's having her coffee. Me too. Mary, New Brunswick. Susan, the clouds. Marla, how are you? Gary and Luella, West Tennessee. Shireen, how are you, my friend? John, Elgin, Illinois. Mary, Newfoundland. And Darcy from Wisconsin. Helga, good morning. Okay, guys, let's do a little teaching this morning, okay? I got out my atlas. Okay? I've had this thing for so long, but I love it because I'm very visual. I like to see things. So, of course, if you're listening to us this morning, and you're on a podcast, but you can't see. Okay, but what I'm showing is blood vessels, okay? I'm going to show you the inside of an artery, okay? And let's see if you can see that. See that? There's an artery. There's the inner layer here is called the endothelial layer, okay? The endothelial layer. See that little, okay? where my pen is right there, that's the endothelial layer of your blood vessels. Very important because that is the layer, okay? It's a microscopic layer inside your blood vessel that is Teflon-like. Has to be very, very slippery. Teflon, okay? You know when you cook with Teflon, right? Very slippery. Put a little bit of butter on it, and it's very slippery. That's the inside of your blood vessel, okay? And the reason I bring this out is because I want to talk to you about a substance. When I was in school in the 70s, we didn't even know this, okay? We didn't know this, okay? And so what scientists discovered, I think it was 1982, if I'm not mistaken, okay? That inside this little layer here, okay, of your arteries was a substance that your body produces. We had no idea, okay? They won a Nobel Prize for discovering this, a little molecule that is secreted right inside the Teflon layer of your blood vessel. It's called nitric oxide, okay? NO, nitric oxide. Now, when I was in school, one thing that we studied was nitroglycerin, dynamite, okay? And we understood that if you gave nitroglycerin to a patient who had heart problems, okay, angina, that nitroglycerin would decrease or completely cut out the angina attack. Now, they didn't know exactly why that happened. And then they discovered, in the 80s, they discovered that the body actually makes nitric oxide, okay? And inside the layer, these little cells make nitric oxide. Wonderful, because what nitric oxide does, it actually relaxes your blood vessels. It keeps your, okay, so it keeps your blood vessels open. Okay, doesn't let them squeeze too tight. So that's an important nutrient, a little molecule, isn't it? Nitric oxide. We knew nothing about it. We didn't even know your body made it. Incredible. And now you'll see advertisements on TV, radio, whatever. You'll hear advertisements or see them on elevating your nitric oxide. Okay? And one of the things that they push a lot is beets. So beets are good for you. Okay? I don't particularly like them in terms of taste, but they are good for you. Okay? Because they do elevate your nitric oxide. I'll tell you what to do to elevate your nitric oxide besides beets. Because I don't like beets, but they're good. Okay? They are good for you. Okay? I hate the taste of them, but they're good for you. Some people really like beets. Me, not so much. Okay? But, by the way, I want to show you something, okay, because I have it out here, okay? See this here, right there? Okay, see that? That's plaque, okay, inside the blood vessel, okay? That's plaque. Now, medicine, okay, love to blame this plaque. Okay, see the plaque inside the blood vessel there? Okay, getting a good look at it. That yellow substance. They go, oh, that's cholesterol. That's bad for you. Right? So they blame cholesterol for that plaque inside your arteries. Nah, like blaming cholesterol, there's cholesterol inside your blood vessels, no doubt about it. But that's not the bad guy. Okay? It's like blaming the firemen because they're at the scene of a fire. They're on your side. The firemen are there to put the fire out. If you have damage inside your blood vessel, okay, let me show you again. Damage inside the blood vessel, you got plaque inside of there. That is inflammation damaging the endothelial. It takes away the endothelial layer. It makes the layer not near as slippery, and plaque starts to form. Now, the worst thing that's happening right there, couple of things, but the worst thing that's happening right there when you see plaque developing in a blood vessel, it's glycation. What is that, doc? Well, glycation is sugar damage. Sugar damage. And let me prove it to you. When you get your A1C done, what test do I love? A1C. Okay? You want to send me your blood glucose? I looked at blood glucose every day in my office. But I was far more interested because it gave me a better biomarker, the blood test A1C. That's an average of your blood sugar over 3 or 4 months. And you know how they detect it? Because sugar attaches itself, okay? Sugar attaches itself to a red blood cell, the hemoglobin in a red blood cell. It glycates, it damages. The sugar is so toxic that it damages the hemoglobin inside your red blood cell. Okay? It damages it. And you can measure it. Because sugar hitches its wagon to the hemoglobin every time you breathe, okay? Go like this. You're breathing, okay? We're exaggerating, but I want you to exaggerate. Breathe. Go like that. What's happening inside your body? Your red blood cells are going through your lungs. They have a sticky substance in the middle of it called hemoglobin. And hemoglobin attaches to oxygen. You can't live without oxygen. You know that. I know that. Right? Hemoglobin. Sugar attaches to hemoglobin. You can actually measure it. Sugar molecules attach to hemoglobin and they glycate the hemoglobin. And you can measure it. It's one of the best measurements for insulin resistance is A1C. And you guys know this. I talk about this all the time. I don't want your A1C to be over 5.4. Now, if it's above that, you have insulin resistance. It doesn't mean you're a diabetic, not to a doctor, not to the medical establishment. But what I'm saying and what I've said for years is if you're above 5.4, you're on the Titanic. You're on the road to insulin. Well, you're already starting insulin resistance, but you're on your road to metabolic syndrome. And metabolic syndrome is at the root of heart disease, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes, and a big factor in autoimmune. And we have a catastrophe today. We North Americans are probably in all the world, probably the sickest people in the world. We spend the most money on healthcare, but we don't really spend 97% of all our so-called healthcare budget is spent on treatment of disease. 3% on prevention of disease. And we got a problem, Houston, because when you look at this plaque, okay, and a lot of times, guys, this is silent. You don't know you even have this narrowing of your arteries. And by the way, let me give you a study that just came out. A study in Lancet, okay, analyzed fat around clogged arteries, okay? So they analyze the fat around the clogged arteries right here. See that? Okay? They analyzed it. 75% of that fat was made up of the same oil that's found in margarine, seed oils. Why have we not even made a dent in heart disease? And it's one of the biggest factors is seed oils. We're using oils in our food that were meant to be in your car. I just went and got an oil change the other day in my truck. They said, what kind of oil do you want in there? Well, I said, look, how about fully synthetic? They said, good choice. I don't know anything, okay? But they said, that's a good choice, a fully synthetic. It's the same stinking oil that was meant for my truck, is people are eating that stuff. When you go to a fast foods, highly processed, what kind of oil do they cook this stuff in? Seed oils, soy oil, peanut oil, safflower, sunflower, the Hateful Eight, canola oil, Canada's gift to the world. Canola. Yeah, but it doesn't have any cholesterol. Yeah, that's the problem. Cholesterol's not your enemy. Never was and never will be. They analyzed these plaques. They looked at the fat, and 75% of that stuff right in there is bad oil. It's incredible. Now, let me put this away. I will talk about nitric oxide a little bit, okay? Very important. How do we elevate our nitric? You want nitric oxide. You want nitric oxide. You want that molecule. As we get older, as we age, nitric oxide goes down. And that is part of the process of atherosclerosis, the hardening of the arteries. It's part of it. Bad oils, aging, premature aging of blood vessels. You start an inflammation response inside. The body's trying, that's where cholesterol comes in. Cholesterol is delivering. Cholesterol in your blood vessels, guys, delivers. It's one of its biggest functions. Look at all the trucks on the highways and byways. Look at all the trucks today. Are they bad? Well, they're delivering. What do you want them to do? If you order from Amazon, what do you want? You want delivery. If you're smart and you're ordering our products, you want delivery. They're not bad, guys, right? It's a big industry today, isn't it? The transport industry, like it's been big for a long time, but today it's unbelievable. So you want delivery of oxygen. You don't want your blood vessels all clogged up. That's what a heart attack is. It's one of those little clots, one of those little pieces of plaque get broken off and they clog a coronary artery and you're in deep doo-doo. You want your nitric oxide to be elevated. So what do? Well, you can eat beets, okay? I don't like them. You can have a beet powder. I don't mind that. The best thing over the years, and there's studies showing this, that pine bark extract, xylitol, is one of the best things you can do to elevate your nitric oxide. Study after study has shown it. You know, one thing about pine bark, and you know, guys, how much I love it. We don't see the study. We can see them, but they're not done here. Mostly in North America, they don't do the studies on pine bark. It's more European studies, but it's incredible for what it does for the heart because it opens up and keeps open those blood vessels. That's what nitric oxide does. And pine bark extract does that. It opens up the blood vessels. Okay? And what nitric oxide does, it inhibits the closing of those blood vessels, the plaque formation. It helps inhibit that. That's why nitric oxide, the people who have the lowest nitric oxide, and they can measure it, their risk of death from a heart attack skyrockets. You want to lower that. You want to lower that. Okay? So, what else helps? Okay? What else helps? Well, one of the things that elevates nitric oxide are eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay? Why? Because they have amino acids. Very important amino acids. You want to eat eggs, meat, and cheese for your blood vessels. What? Yeah, they don't clog your blood vessels. They do the opposite because they elevate your nitric oxide with L-arginine. You can eat L-arginine. You can take it as a supplement if you want. Bone broth has got L-arginine. Okay? But I really like citrulline too. But I'm not big on, I was never big really on giving L-arginine. I used to tell people, look, Why don't you eat it instead? You like eggs? Yeah. Well, it's got L-arginine in it. It's got L-citrulline in it. It'll elevate your nitric oxide. You like meat? Oh, I love meat, Doc. My doc said, I don't care what your doc said. Your doc doesn't know anything about food. They took about 2 minutes of food. They never see the connection of food. And it's almost like you gotta bring a doctor to a dentist and get their teeth drilled without anesthetic to see that food is involved in health. They're so drummed in today, okay? They're so drummed in. We got a condition, we have a drug for it. We have this condition, there's a drug. They have that condition, there's another drug. And then you got side effects from the drugs, we have another drug for the side effects of the drug. True or false? True. Most seniors that have very little nitric oxide, most seniors have very little nitric oxide left. First of all, they're not eating enough eggs, meat, and cheese to get the amino acids they need. They're aging. That's a factor in nitric oxide. They don't eat enough eggs, meat, and cheese. And guess what? They're not getting enough amino acids. And then if they don't have enough stomach acidity, which is a vast majority of them, they're not absorbing properly. So, and then they're on, 10, 15, and I'm not kidding you, medications. The pharmacist, when he sees a senior, has got dollar signs in his eyeballs. Here comes another senior. Dollar signs. Like, it's unbelievable. The amount of medication people are on. Well, that decreases your nitric oxide. And you have low nitric oxide to start off with. Your blood vessels hardly have a chance. And remember, when it comes to, I just showed you the blood vessels. You want me to show you again? You got these puppies. Okay? You see these puppies here? You got blood vessels in your brain. What do you think small vessel dementia is? It's blood vessels they're not enough blood supply to the brain, not enough oxygen to the brain. And remember, the one thing that's every bit as bad as those bad oils is sugar, glycation. You cut out, when people cut out, when they get on the reset, okay, and they cut out sugar, you're not having it for 30 days. No sugar. No sugar added. It's amazing how the body goes, holy moly, what have you done to me? This is beautiful. And you're cutting out the seed oils. You're not having the processed foods. You're not having the hydrogenated bad oils that belong in your car. Your blood vessels thank you. You're living on eggs. You're living on meat. You're living on dairy, cheese and butter, some cream. Even yogurt, as long as it's natural, nothing added, like a Greek plain yogurt. I got no problem with it. It has some natural sugars in it. But you're really effectively regenerating the body. Okay? Guess what elevates your nitric oxide? Okay, I'll give you you guys are probably already way ahead of me. Why does Dr. Martin, I had someone laughing at me yesterday. Dr. Martin, you make this stuff up. No, I don't. But I have a little twinkle in my eye. That's true. When I talk about one of my favorite subjects, coffee. Guess what coffee does? I'll give you 3 seconds to answer. 1, 2, 3. You know the answer. It elevates your nitric oxide. Coffee. Beets. Coffee. I'll take coffee for the win. Okay? Coffee elevates your nitric oxide. No, somebody put Dr. Martin dark chocolate. My wife calls dark chocolate X-Lax. Why do you want to eat that stuff? Look, yeah, dark chocolates are, real, pure, 98% dark chocolate, okay? Not milk chocolate, not your chocolate bar. No, that will give you glycation. It won't give you nitric oxide, okay? I'll give you dark chocolate. You want to have a little piece of dark chocolate? It will elevate your nitric oxide. But coffee's better. Coffee's better. That's why coffee's so good for your heart. It's one of the biggest reasons. It elevates your nitric oxide. Isn't that a gift to humanity? Something that is so good for you, isn't it? And it's so delicious. Come on. Coffee. Enjoy. Someone said, don't smoke. You're right. Smoking destroys nitric oxide. Don't smoke. Don't smoke marijuana either. I get a migraine when I see all these people that are smoking marijuana. Are you crazy? Anyway, B12. Do you know that B12 elevates your nitric oxide? You know me and B12. You know how much I love B12. You rarely ever hear me talking about the other B vitamin. And the reason I don't, guys, it's not, you think I don't know about all the B vitamins? Yes, of course I know about the B vitamins. Why don't I talk about, Dr. Martin, you only talk about B12. What about B6? What about B1? What about B3? I know all those vitamins. I get it. I understand that. Eat them. Eat those vitamins. And the reason I get so many people supplementing with B12 is because they're extremely low in it. B12 is a finicky vitamin. B12 is got a huge structure molecularly. And on the best days, B12 is a very hard vitamin to assimilate. It's just the way it is. And most people don't eat near enough red meat. They don't eat enough steak. They don't eat enough roast beef. They don't eat enough hamburger. Well, they have hamburgers and then they have the fries and a Diet Coke with it. And they eat the bun. Very important, guys, B12, because it elevates, it opens your blood vessels. Pine bark opens. Coffee opens. Steak opens. A B12 supplement. Most people have to take a B12 And take it sublingually, guys. You just don't take B12 and swallow it. You're not getting it. Okay? I'll give credit where credit is due because I really like berries, guys. I do. You know, when it comes to fruit, okay, the best fruit for nitric oxide are blueberries. Now, we're just waiting here. Won't be long. The blueberries are coming out, okay? And the bears will be out because they love blueberries, okay? Now, they use blueberries. You don't use blueberries like a bear does because a bear will eat up to 30,000. You know, I don't know whoever counted, but somebody did. And a bear will eat up to 30,000 blueberries in a day as they prepare to go back to sleep for 6 months. Okay, when they want to go into hibernation, they use that fructose in blueberries to fatten up. But you're not going to eat 30,000 of them, are you? Blueberries, the wild ones especially, they elevate your nitric oxide. Isn't that wonderful? So do strawberries and that, the others, but not like blueberries. Okay? Now, if you can't get wild, and you know what's nice about wild blueberries? You can freeze them. And then use them. Okay? Put them in Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. Give your kids Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. Give them fat, not carbs. Give them fat. And you can put a few berries in. Put some blueberries in there. What a shake it makes. Give them some bone broth. Because it's got L-arginine in there. And L-citrulline. Okay? But I'm big on eating stuff, guys. If you can eat it, eat it. Okay? Did I miss anything? I don't think so. You know what elevates your nitric oxide too? Balsamic vinegar. Yeah, have a little bit of that. Okay? You like balsamic? It can elevate your nitric oxide. Okay? Apple cider a little bit too, but balsamic actually, when they measure it, elevates your nitric oxide even more. I like balsamic. Okay? I like balsamic vinegar. Okay, guys. That was fun, wasn't it? Learning about nitric oxide. Never get tired of that, guys. I just don't like, especially stuff I didn't even learn in school, for heaven's sakes. We didn't even know in the 70s. We didn't know. We didn't know a lot of things. Oh boy, the body, fearfully and wonderfully made. Isn't it? Okay. Okay, guys. Demain, tomorrow, Q&A. Okay, so send your questions in to info@martinclinic.com. I don't think it's too late. I don't know. Nobody talks to me. Okay? Send your questions in. We love that. Okay. Talk to you soon.